know that.
Pay
That makes
attention.
sense, because then the mouse is,
Yep,
yeah.
backwards.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we are live.
You wanna get started?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
just let me finish this
Okay.
text to Duncan.
Perfect.
It's probably on a golf course.
All right, we will call the meeting to order. We will start with roll call. Tim is absent with notice. Wendy is here. Frank Blaine.
Here.
Kandi. Here. Duncan. Ryan.
Here.
Craig.
Here.
All right, we'll move on to approval of the agenda for tonight. Is there anything I need to add, or I'd take a motion to approve that?
I just have a request for in the future. I usually try to get these out by Wednesday or Thursday. If you let me know when you want to add pickleball stuff.
Okay. Well, I thought I'd talk about that during the pickleball update section, so I don't know if it was an addition or,
Something to chat about.
yeah, yep, just something to chat about during that time.
So I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And Craig, who's taking notes? You
I
are?
am.
You are.
I am too.
You are too? I was making sure. Okay, got it. The next item is the approval of previous minutes from May 19th of 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Public comment. It looks like nobody's here for public comment, so we will move on to reports. Update from council and staff members on non-agenda items.
I'll be ready.
Yeah, I don't really have much, Craig.
That's your bag.
I don't think we really handled much on the Parks and Rec side as far as the council goes. You probably have more.
Yeah, it's been pretty,
Yeah.
we are starting on that bathroom now. We wanted to wait till after Jamboree days before we start that, just for safety reasons. But we are starting on that, so hopefully by tomorrow or Wednesday, we'll have the old one raised and out of there, and we'll start getting ready to build a new one. And there's only sports complex, nothing new. I have heard that there is some people looking at doing a ball tournament out there in July sometime, so they just asked about it, so there might be a ball tournament out there in July.
Softball.
Yep. That's about all I think I've got for dates.
And that's at Swenson, right?
Yep.
Sounds good. We'll maybe skip over B, the item B, since Duncan isn't here to report, or unless you want to report on it, Frank?
No, I'll let you.
Okay, sounds good. We'll circle back to that one. We'll go down to the report on the Jamboree Pickleball tournament. We had 8 teams participate. We did start a little bit early just because of the weather, the heat and the wind. So we were able to complete it by about 11:15-ish. So we had our first tournament under our belt with one bracket of ladies division.
Oh, cool.
So, and then there was just a couple of suggestions that came out of that tournament. The wind screens or the sunshades was one of them. I know we talked about those in the past, so I just wanted to bring that up again. And then part of the signage, which that might be further down the line here. We can review that during the signage part. I'll bring that up. The signage and the open court times, open play times. I don't know if anybody else had any questions on the pickleball tournament, or?
You said 8 teams, was that, there was a women's division? maybe?
Yeah,
It was
just a women's.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So,
Yeah, we could have done another division, but it would have lasted throughout the whole day. It would have taken the whole day, and with the
Gotcha.
heat, it was a good thing we got done early, so.
yeah, it was hot.
Plus, it was our first one, just wanted to get one under our
Run.
belts. Yeah, and just see how it went before we kind of expand it. It'll be a lot easier when we have more courts too, because we did use that basketball court as a third court. not ideal, but it's,
Actually, they said it didn't play too bad.
yeah.
Did you do that on Jamboree days? then?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep. We got a lot of compliments on our court. There was a couple of people that came from Sioux Falls, a couple of those ladies, they said it was nice. And then there's a lady from Colton here watching, and or Crooks, I think she was from, but she said they're really nice,
Yeah, good.
really nice courts, so we got some compliments on that as well. All right, we're gonna circle back, since Duncan is here now, to the report on the Jamboree Days advertising booth response.
Give it like 3 minutes. Tanya's I forgot my phone.
Oh, yeah.
I loaded up the table and the.
Oh, yeah.
banner. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
We're not live right now?
Yeah, we are.
I'm sorry.
Do you need a?
One of those. She's running it over. I had my note.
Was one or two.
Yeah, you had your notes. I mean, I have those in that email that you had sent.
She's running it over.
I didn't check the packet to see if they'd thrown that in.
I didn't see that part in there.
No, I don't think that would have made it,
No.
because Teresa left on
Yeah.
Friday afternoon, so
Yep.
she's going until Wednesday.
All right, do we want to circle back?
Just circle.
Okay.
Circle back in like 5 minutes.
Yep, sounds good.
Sorry about that.
No worries. We'll move on to old business, the Swenson Park concession stand update. Remember.
As far as I last heard, there's nobody that's really looking at taking the other concessions. I mean, it's all ready to go, everything like that. We're pretty close to taking down the caution tape, whatever, so grass is coming in pretty good. It's looking good up there. But last Teresa said that there was nobody that really was willing to do concessions out there. When I did talk to the Greg Hartman about the tournaments that we want to have out there in July, I said, you realize there's nobody to run concessions out there. So it sounded like they were going to try to get some of their group to do it, so they'll have to work out the details with you guys and stuff like that, see what they want to do. So that might be something, just emails going back and forth, because we won't have our next meeting till after that tournament.
Okay.
So.
And it looks like Teresa had sent out information to 35 various school, religious, civic, and nonprofit groups. So I'm assuming we have not received any interest back from them yet, so. I don't know, do we need any more discussion on next steps with that concession stand?
I'm not sure what the next steps would be.
I know.
Well, I think when we talk about maybe a maintenance fee for next year, that we put the expectation of parents that they're gonna have to cover some concessions, or have the organizations do that when they're signing them up, and that you either pay or you do coverage or something.
You know, maybe it could be something that if they're not willing to work it, like I said, have an extra fee on their, so that somebody could be hired to run it.
Right.
And then take the, I mean, they would do well with concessions, especially during tournament.
Right, yeah. And I know that's how other school groups did it, when you had to do like 1 or 2 concessions as a
Right.
parent.
Yeah.
So it'd be pretty easy to do, and maybe they just cover their own games or their own, you know.
I know for the concessions for Jamboree for the movie night, they said they usually only get about $100, and they barely break even with them. They said this last Thursday night, they did just about close to 400.
Oh, nice.
So they said they did well for that, so
Yeah.
it's there. I mean, the money,
Right.
especially at ball game, if you do a all-day event
Oh,
like that,
yeah.
you'll
Yeah.
make some money on it.
Yeah. All right, any other discussion on the Swenson Park concession stand? There was the maintenance fee in there too. We kind of talked about doing that for next year. I don't know if there's any additional discussion on that. Needs to be had.
And we just need to figure out like the number,
What the dollar amount is.
dollar amount.
Mhm.
not scare off the fans.
Yeah. Yep. Well, it looks like she had the numbers for the teams, approximate numbers on that.
Yeah.
693, it looks like, total players for the,
We included that with the information Saturday for people coming around looking at
Sure.
advertising, that they had those
I,
numbers.
I still personally don't think it's right that if we charge that Dakota Alliance wouldn't pay anything.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that just doesn't seem fair, but
yeah.
I don't know.
They don't, Dakota Alliance doesn't have games out there, right?
No, like Tim
Just
said, it'd be
practice.
like individual teams that are practicing out there or whatever. But, I mean, I don't want to make it difficult for them, but it just doesn't, I mean, if people start talking and going, oh, we don't have to pay the fee.
Right.
You know, I just don't think that would go over very well, but,
Maybe it's something if you pay the fees, you get first choice of times. If you don't pay the fees, you get, if there's any leftover spots.
yeah,
you get
true,
the fields,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
That's a good
then we
idea.
let the people that pay the fees, they get
Priority.
first
Get
choice.
priority for scheduling.
Yeah, and then
for
they,
sure.
then they, those, if they don't want to pay the fee, then they just would get whatever is left over
there's
then.
anyone
Yeah,
left
that's a
over.
good idea. Yeah, that seems like that would be fair. Yeah.
Or I'm afraid they'd just pull their practices if they had to pay a fee. They just wouldn't do it here. They'd choose.
They'd find other
They'd find
groups.
others,
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's less people using it, and put
Which is
wear and
probably-
tear on
It'd be
it.
cheaper for the fees than when we drive to Sioux Falls or something.
Right.
else.
Yeah,
And-
I mean-
Absolutely.
Sioux
Yeah,
Falls
if you do
would
the
be-
math.
I don't think it's any skin off our back if
Right.
we use them. I mean, they're costing us money at this
Right.
point.
Well,
you
they'll
know.
probably go to Turtle Park or the football
Yeah,
field.
Right.
then, yeah, then
Some other
that's
green
fine.
space.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we pretty much keep them painted year-round because it takes a lot more manpower hours to restring everything to repaint it than it's cheaper to buy the paint and just repaint it than it is to, so I mean.
Is it only Dakota Alliance
The high
teams
school
that
teams,
practice?
the high school
And the high
teams
school,
come
right?
out in the fall there, and
Yeah.
they just practice on them. They will play a few games out there if they have a doubleheader or something like that, where they need an extra
Yeah.
field, so they'll play out there. I know the high school is also willing to help purchase stuff for out there and things like that, so I think they'll work with us as far as paying fees, basically.
Yeah, I would think the fee we're even considering would be, it's not like we're saying, hey, Dakota Alliance, you gotta pay $100.
Right,
A-
right.
A kid, you
Yeah.
know, we're talking, you know, $20 maybe?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not like it's a big ask.
Yeah, I know.
Where's the big ask that we say, hey, you don't pay any fees at all. You guys get to man the concession stand 10 times during the summer.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Any other discussion on Swenson Park? We'll circle back then to the Jamboree Days advertising booth response from Duncan.
Yeah, and Frank.
And Frank.
Yeah, it was, you know, you didn't know what to expect, but I'd say we have, I'd sent a copy of the list to everybody. So of the 9 conversations we had, I feel like we have a good, solid 7 commitments for some type of advertising, whether it's the banners or the scoreboard. And, you know, we should have some revenue coming in. We got a little bit creative because a few folks were willing to commit for a longer period of time, so we gave them a slight discount for that. We give them a little incentive to, you know, hey, I'll do a banner for 3 years, okay? We've got a couple folks willing to do that, so I thought it was surprisingly pretty good.
Yeah, that is
Considering
good.
you just don't know what to expect. You don't know what the traffic's gonna be. We had a good shaded spot. Thank you for the Jamboree Committee. Thank you for Frank with his knowledge of all the, obviously, I'm learning, as more the new guy in the block, but it was great to have Frank there, who's been a longtime resident. So, no, we felt it was pretty good. So what we'll do with this list is Frank and I will make sure and follow up with all those conversations. And we'll have an agreement for them to sign and get the commitment. I'll talk to Teresa, maybe the ones that we're doing like a small discount, we might have rewrite this a little bit for them. As in Travis Electric and Jesse, so we'll see.
So the one with Travis Electric, they're doing all 4 fields with banners. not just
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
So instead of 500 a field, we're doing 400.
Oh, yeah.
yep, 400 field, so that'll be good. So I'm hoping Teresa can rewrite these a little bit for us. Shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, it was good. Anything else to add, Frank?
Did Teresa send something out to like the chamber members? Did that go out?
Yeah, there was an email, I believe,
An email
they got
or
the
something?
chamber to send an email with the agreement and the ask, I
Okay,
think.
good.
As far as I know, she hasn't gotten feedback from
I want to say she's got 2 more that are getting banners so far.
Yeah, it was Reliabank.
Reliabank's
And-
committed and
Bus.
Sunshine's done.
Yep.
them. Yeah, bus.
Yeah, bus.
Yep. I wonder about Pizza Ranch. I think they have
New
new owners.
ownership.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it might
that'd be a
be.
good one.
Yeah.
It's my thought, I've got information now, so I'm gonna knock on doors.
You got the literature to.
I got the literature, now I got some ammunition.
Yep.
I
I
can
mean that in a
ask.
good way, I've got some good information
Right.
I feel it'd be good to show up, knock on a door as a representative of the Park and Rec and state our value and why we're asking for some sponsorship dollars.
And we did get verbal approval from the mayor for the negotiating adjustments we were making.
Yes, Mayor John. So we're gonna do that, and the only thing I'm thinking about, Frank, is since we're kind of halfway through the year, if we get them to commit now, can we include that for 2026? I don't know. You know what I'm saying, Craig? I mean, maybe a little extra carrot, hey, you're committing now, we have to take some time to make the banners, but this really is for the end of this year and all of 2026, let's say.
I mean, I think.
Is that
since
fair?
This is fairly new right now for us, like, so by the time you get the banner, it'd be halfway through, so that's definitely something you guys
Yeah.
can discuss and talk about, but to me, it would make sense to run it through, basically sign up now for next year.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking.
Even though
Okay.
banners get made and we can get it put up, whatever, but it's definitely something to talk about.
Yeah.
Well, you think of traffic up there is the highest traffic time in the fall. You got flag football, you
Yeah.
saw soccer
Softball.
practices, softball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
the only thing with flag football is their advertisements all on the other side,
Oh,
so they're not gonna hardly notice it.
how are they put on there? Are we
Just zip tying them.
just zip tying them? And then we'll take them down in the
Yep.
winter time so
Yep,
they
we'll
don't
cut
get
them down as soon
weathered.
as the last day, we'll take them
He's
all
got
down and pop the storm.
And storms that are in good shape.
Yep.
Okay, now I think that makes sense.
I mean, I don't know how big of a hassle it'd be, but could we reverse them in the fall and put them facing outward?
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't take that
I
much to
don't know.
do.
Then you get the notice from the flag
Signs
football.
on both sides?
Or no, like take them off and
Oh,
then.
I understand that.
Yeah.
If you-
Double them up. back-
Well,
back-
no,
back.
if you had a banner that had writing on both sides, I don't know.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I don't know, who's doing our
The only
banners?
thing with some of that writing on both sides is that it's certain light, it's gonna show through from the other side.
Oh.
and It's
Oh,
hard
okay.
to read them.
Yeah, that
So
makes sense.
you'd almost
too.
have to have 2 separate banners and just put them together.
Back.
Okay. Yeah, and you saw Tim's email, he mentioned black tie. They made a commitment or very interested. Can you add to that, Frank?
It's more the divider to
Between the sides.
delineate.
Oh, that's right.
To delineate where the property line is.
Okay, so that'd be a different sign for those guys.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, I think
So-
Tim mentioned something, trying to figure out something for that netting for the backstop, maybe have something, and I'd have to look in to see how that would work, so it doesn't catch too much wind.
Right.
And if you'd be able to actually read something, it's in there with, bigger gaps and stuff.
So the real traffic's gonna start, is it fair to say September?
I would say some of your biggest traffic is going on right now.
Okay.
Parking lots on Tuesday nights are completely full.
Okay.
It's all your rec ball.
Yeah.
So the softball fields are pretty much busy basically Tuesday through Thursday and some Mondays too, but.
Okay.
So you got 4 days in there that parking lot's just closed.
Okay.
It'll stay busy like that until school gets started, and then it'll switch over to flag football and soccer.
Okay. Yeah, my thought is probably need a couple weeks, just to, we've given out the information now, and then between us, we'll follow up. But, it might be 2-3 weeks to get an agreement done. And of course, we gotta make the banners, that takes some time, so. No, it was good.
Thank
It's
you
a
guys
good
for-
start.
thanks for
Yeah,
doing
thanks
that.
for-
Yeah, sure. No problem.
All right.
Now, you
Thank
guys
you.
want to run a concession stand?
Yeah.
Uh,
No.
Leaving for Europe Wednesday for a month.
Yeah, no, thank you. All right. Anything else on that? Otherwise, we'll move on to the old business 2025 budget items, discussion on priorities and progress.
Well, I'll also go ahead and start with what, on some of the stuff that's budgeted for this year. Shade structures for the dog park, we did get that flagged today, get an okay called in, and he's gonna start on those. So they shouldn't take probably a week or so to build, so they'll be done here within a couple weeks probably. We have started on the inside of the pickleball, the old bathrooms to start gutting them out. I gotta get a permit tomorrow to raise and then rebuild there, so I'll be getting that tomorrow. If everything goes good, we could have that possibly completely tore out of there midweek, maybe end of this week. And then we'll get started on getting it laid out so we can get the plumbers in there and get electrical stuff ran and have that stuff ready to go, and we'll get ready for that concrete and set posts. Shade structure for the playground area, and then same with playground stuff. We're kind of on hold on that because we want to get the complete layout of what they're going to do for the additional gravel for the parking lot, which is should be designed by now and getting ready to go off for bid if it's not off for bid already. So once we get that completely laid out, then we can go ahead and start getting the playground equipment put in and getting that stuff set up and see where we're at, what we need to replace and do, and then we can work on the shade structure too, or the safety nets and stuff like that too. I know we have some bleachers and stuff ordered, fall poles and that stuff. I did get some pricing on that stuff. It's something that we'll have to decide if we want to, where our budget's at, if we want to go ahead and move with them right now. And I think them numbers are all in there somewhere.
I think 30,000 was the budget number.
Yeah, so the foul poles. So it looks like the fall poles are gonna be about $784 each. And that's with the 3x3 framework, identical to ones that are out there now, painted and everything like that.
How many do we need?
There'd be 4 of them that would need to be purchased. And I guess we do have that in as a list for this year, so if you guys want to move ahead of them, we can get those ordered and get those coming. The rest of that stuff, we've just been kind of holding to see where we're at and where we want to start with it as far as the concrete and stuff like that. So it might be something that one of these meetings, we might just have to go out there again and look it over and say, okay, here's what we'd like to see out this year out here as far as that, what we got, 30,000. But if you do those 4 fall poles, you're looking at just, probably 3,500 or something like that, so.
And then the concrete would be a lot of footing work and maybe some slabs.
Yeah, if you want to put some down where the bleachers are going to sit and different things like that. And, I mean, there's so many different shade options out there too. I mean, there's some that are built right in, permanent ones that are, so that's something you guys need to think about, what you really want for shade out there and how much we can afford to do at a time or, stuff like that, so.
Is that more shade for the players or for the
At this time,
the
it
fans?
was talked about for the fans
The
more than
fans?
anything, yep. And probably what the thing to do would be to start, so like the school ball, we had them play on field 2 this year because that way, when the sun starts to go down, they're not looking into the sun. So we figured that'd be a better field for them, so, if we could only do some shade on one field, that might be the one to start with, and then maybe then go to one, and then jump to the other ones after that.
Did you say we need to, or we could make a motion to order those foul poles?
Yeah, you certainly can, because it is on this year's expense.
Just to get those going.
Okay.
And that is an updated number, I just went over there the other day, so June 17th is what you quoted.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to use the allocated funds to purchase 4 foul poles.
They have the council, for the council to release.
For the council to
Yep.
release funds, yeah.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Do we want to set our next meeting to go take a peek at that? Or will they be busy? Or not?
Monday nights are not usually too bad.
Then we can kind of look at the shade and kind of figure out what we want to do for shade.
It's always good to have a field trip
Yeah.
and get a visual.
So for the money to get released, we're probably on the next agenda to have them release it, because if we have a meeting on Wednesday, it could be on Wednesday's meeting, but Teresa's gone, so I can't really update that.
Yeah, okay.
And that's something I'm not doing.
Right. Don't blame ya.
Don't get in trouble.
So
Yeah, no.
I'll have her make sure we put it on the next agenda
Yeah,
for
sounds
getting that
good.
release for them. And I'll figure out the exact dollar amount and talk to Beaver Bill again, just to get an actual locked in quote on that. But I'm sure that'll be the same number, so. And that's pretty much it right now for this year's budget stuff, for what we've purchased and what we're waiting for. Like I said, depends on what that additional gravel parking lot comes in at. We're hoping that we've got some contractors that are already in town that would give us some pretty decent prices on it. So hopefully that can be.
ISG that's giving you that design.
Yeah, ISG's doing the design, getting it all put together, so we're pretty confident that we'll be below that number, or close to that number, so we'll see when it goes up for bids.
All right. We will move on to the review of the capital improvement plan. I think dollar amounts were added in there, it looks like, so estimates for 2026.
Yeah. So I see for the scoreboards, she's got to add the 2 scoreboards, and then she's got the approximate cost of each one. That number's wrong, but the 25,000 is the right number.
Okay.
I got prices on them updated, and it was, we're going at 14,000 for 2 of the units, so about 7,000 a piece right now. And then scoreboards themselves were, the framework's just shy, or 2408, so we figure about 2,500 of them. So that 25,000 should be pretty accurate for the 2 scoreboards and the brackets, well, and the concrete stuff to anchor it, plus we'll have electrical that'll have to get brought to them too, so. But they can feed that right off the other scoreboard, so that won't be overly costly at this time. Playground equipment, that's, I mean, if the council decides to budget 25 at that time, it'd be something just to look at all the different options. There's so many, I printed off a lot of different ones, and it's just everywhere, depends on what you want, and you guys can look at them if you want, but there's so many different options out there, too, and they're different age groups. I mean, I went from 18-month to 2-year stuff, and that's that one there, and then I went from the 2 to 5-year age group to get the other ideas, so. But it's all over the wall, I mean, depends on which.
Would this be like on that textured surface, or would this be?
This right now would just be on sand. I mean, if you start going textured, or, I know it'd be nice to start incorporating some ADA stuff into it, so that's all we're gonna get, maybe more.
Well, maybe we have to wait and go out for some grants or something for the ADA
Yeah,
part.
yeah, get it, buy the equipment, you know, you can always, there's some different options as far as making it ADA, you know, like the other ones, we brought those, you know, some concrete sidewalk up to where the entrance is at. So you're still clear of the fall area and everything like that, but you can buy it. I can't remember what the school paid for it, but I want to say it was close to $100 for the surfacing.
Wow.
So
That rubber surfacing?
it's pretty spendy. Because they have to do a whole concrete slab underneath to put all the drainage, and then, because that way it doesn't hold the water. You have to put that stuff into the hold it in place and like that, so it's pretty elaborate and pretty expensive.
Yeah.
But I mean, for now, if you guys, like for budget time, if you just pick a number, we just do 25 out there, and then if you, whatever you get for budget, that's what you, at that point, that's what you shoot for, try to get some equipment, so, or out of that, in the main park, that's what I guess we're talking about for, so.
Yeah, there's a lot of options.
So then, the top 7 are actual, I went out and got numbers for them and actually figured it all out. Number 8 is that practice pickleball, that stuff. I mean, that's, how much do you want to do, how much concrete gets put into it? To use the tennis court for that, or the basketball court would be kind of, to me, it'd be almost dangerous, because if they're playing basketball and would run into it, or they're gonna get hurt, you know, so you'd have to have a back far enough, and then is it too far back, so you can't play practice with it for pickleball? So I mean, I was kind of looking for guidance on, do you make it a 8, you know, how wide, how deep do you make it, and how wide do you make it, and what do you use for backstop to hit off of, is it, you know, what size are you looking for? So in order to put some numbers together, I guess I need more guidance on what. And I could probably try to get to Sioux Falls and see what they have on one of them,
Yeah.
what they've got.
So the 4 courts in line 6, where are those going? Are they going towards the softball field, or?
So they would go toward the softball field. When we laid it out, we made sure that light pole,
Okay,
we're gonna be like within a foot of that on the last courts.
okay, so
So
they'd
they-
all go
They'd all
back
just
that
keep
way.
moving to the
Okay.
east, yep.
And the basketball court would stay where it's at?
Yep,
Okay.
that's the way we originally started laying it out, and then
SG
ISG
moved it
kind of got
a bit.
their stuff. I mean, the way we got it laid out, you can just keep adding, and just keep
Right.
adding your fence and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and keep moving. So I think from here, it's up to you guys what you wanna proceed to go, try to move ahead with, or if you want to try to do it at all, and go to, when you go to budget time, do you, here's what we would like to see for this year's budget for expenses, expenses and that stuff, and see what you get.
Yeah.
What's the, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt. What's the line 8 there, pickleball practice court / areas?
That's what he was just talking about.
Okay.
Basically, you can go down there and hit against a wall.
Oh, gotcha, okay, all
Like
right,
by-
now I follow.
Yeah, like a little board.
Yeah, gotcha, now I'm, now.
By yourself. If you're a one-man band.
Now it all makes sense.
I mean, then you probably could put something inside one of the fields, but then you lose court.
Yeah.
Right, right, you do.
Yeah,
Does Riverdale have that and some of the others? Like a practice?
I haven't been down to Riverdale, but like Lead had one, a practice thing. I mean, I've never seen anybody using it, but we did have a request and
Yep, we got donation.
we had a donation for
Yeah.
a practice board. So I think that's why we put it on the agenda.
Sure.
and
Does anybody know what the donation is?
The dollar amount?
Yeah.
I heard it, but I'm not sure, I'm not gonna remember the exact one, so I don't want to.
Because that really wouldn't be in the city budget then, right?
What's that?
It wasn't enough.
It wasn't
for it.
substantial.
No, it was,
No,
Yeah.
but
I
it would-
want to say it was like $300 or $400.
Yeah,
That's
I-
what I want
yeah.
to say, somewhere there,
Yeah.
but don't quote me on that, so.
That's enough for you to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I will try to get to Sioux Falls between now and our next meeting, when we have to get the budget numbers actually finalized, and see what they've got for options out there for them, and then kind of put a price together of what they did, and maybe get some pictures and stuff like that, so you guys got some ideas what
Right.
they've got. And if there's any other
So-
towns around too, I'd certainly be willing to visit with those guys too and stuff. I know most of them.
Yeah, so you're talking about pouring cement and making an
Probably just
actual,
complete by itself, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was kind of.
because there is that gap between the basketball court and
Or
the
even.
pickleball.
Yeah.
So it might be okay to just do it in between there.
Yeah.
Well, you made it really tall, it could be your shade.
Yeah, there you go.
So, like I said,
Yeah.
I didn't put any numbers together for that, because I really didn't have any idea what.
Mhm.
I mean, pickleball's
Yeah.
new to me.
Is the
Right.
bathroom all steel structure or some of that be concrete?
That's gonna be all steel structure.
Because if you did like a cinder block wall or something there, you could use
Yeah.
that for your hitting.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea.
No, we price that all in steel, just for dollar amount wise.
That sounds good. Is there anything else that,
We're gonna have Craig look into
the wind?
No, the pallet.
the paddle holders.
Oh, the paddle
That-
holders?
That's
Yeah.
later agenda.
Yeah.
item that
Oh,
you-
sorry,
so-
I'm ahead of myself.
I'm kind of thinking they're not that expensive, like if we have any dollars left over, even this year, we could maybe
Or
throw
make
them in
them or
there.
something like that.
Yeah, or make them,
I think
yeah.
that picture I seen was like a steel, basic steel
Yeah.
framework, and then the,
Yeah.
whatever the paddle holders are.
Yeah, the one in.
There is a slide bar on it, so you can slide it so you know
Okay.
who's next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one in Okoboji is made of PVC, so it's just like a, and then there's little holes in it, and you put your pad, I mean, it's pretty simple, so
Yeah.
you could do something simple like that as well.
Would they do that up there, Craig, at Beaverville or something like that, if they did a nice one or something, like a metal one or something?
I mean, yeah, biggest thing is, how much weight is it gonna be if you're gonna hang it on the fence or something like that?
Yeah.
PVC would help a lot with that.
PVC
Yeah.
would help, yeah. Yes.
I'll try to get online and look up some of that stuff, and just see what it's gonna would take to make something, or what the framework would take, what's like real light metal with it, or something like that, see what I can put on that.
Yeah, because it just takes some thin wall tubing.
Yeah. It won't take much for, just make sure it doesn't bend easy and stuff like that, but you can use pretty light stuff.
Any other discussion on the priority list, top 8? Is there anything else that we missed, or we want to move up or bump up to next year, or? It looks like 238.5 is what that dollar figure estimated.
238.5, you said?
Yeah.
Thanks for that. I needed to do that, kept forgetting.
Yeah. Yep. And that doesn't, I know the mayor talked about getting more sponsorships for the pickleball courts, so that they could have their sign and their logo in the paint, so that could help offset some of that cost as well.
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna give Golden West first right of refusal
Mhm.
on the next 4 courts, and then if they say, oh, we're good with where we're at, then we open it up to other folks.
Yeah.
What was that, 15 or 25?
I think it was 25,
was it?
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
25 for that.
And he said they didn't box, so he should ask for more.
Yeah.
Midco next. No.
Yeah.
Does the tree planting, do we need to budget that per year? Is there any other areas that, do we need more at Swenson Park, or is that something we could do a few every year? I know we talked about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I could certainly, in my budget or whatever, especially now with, having the ash borer in town.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to look at bumping up that number quite a bit as far as even tree removal. We're gonna re-inventory, we've inventoried already once, and I think we had like, I wanna say 250 boulevard ash trees
Oh, wow.
and 100 in the park. So, with that, we're gonna go around yet this fall and see what they look like, just double check our inventory, make sure we're not looking at a hackberry, because they are real similar.
Sure.
For as far as
Yeah. Are we having to take them all down, or?
that's what I gotta come up with for a budget for.
If they start to die, they become a major risk.
So I'm looking at a 3 to 5 year plan, at budget time to bring up, present to the council.
Sure.
If we take this many down every year, in 3 to 5 years, we could have them taken care of and stuff replanted and that.
Sure.
So, in the park, we are treating 30 or 40 of them. We looked them over back in 2018 and picked the best trees, because we knew it's expensive treating them. So we picked out the best ones that we wanted to try to keep alive and work with those, so.
This says $2 per year, is that?
I think it was 2,000.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I read that too. I was
Like, wow, $2,
Cheap
that's,
trees.
yeah, that's cheap.
Yeah, right now, at budget time, we do 6,000 in boulevard trees, 250 or 300 for an Arbor Day tree, and then we do $1,000 for trees in the parks. So we've been doing that for years. I mean, if you look in the main park, there's a lot of new stuff that's growing to replace some of the old stuff down the road, so.
Yeah, there's a lot of nice shade in that city park right
Yeah,
now.
there is.
So.
Well, they're such tall trees.
Mhm.
And we took out probably 2 or 3 this year that had to come down, and so as we take them down, we try to get something back in the right away to get them going, so.
Yeah. So it's the park board's responsibility for budgeting for park trees?
Yeah, so I'll bring that up, I'll be putting that number together for
Okay.
at budget time, and just say, we need this much we're gonna need this much for tree removal next year.
Sure.
We're gonna need this much for replacement, we're gonna bump that number up. Maybe not so much in the boulevard, because some of the homeowners don't want trees in their boulevard, some do. We've always had, with that 6,000 that we give out, it comes to about 40 or 34 to 38 trees or something like that. And it seems like every year we fill the want of what people, request.
Sure.
So we've always been in pretty good shape that way. We might just have to look at bumping up in the parks and doing that, getting some more out in sports complex,
Yeah.
different places like that, so.
I had a question on, or just some, what is the feedback on the current, basketball court? Is that, are they okay with it? Is geez, when are we gonna get a new surface? Is a new court a I mean, that's probably a
As far as
pretty,
surfacing it, I did have a guy look at it, he said he says, don't spend the money to resurface this, it's, you know. it's
tear
not."
up.
And I haven't, I mean, it's mostly high school kids that have played on it, I guess I haven't heard any complaints about, you know,
Okay.
that it needs to be addressed, you know.
It cleaned up well for the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it did too, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of, almost like it is what it is, you know what I mean? It's not like,
Right.
I
I'm
don't
just
really
curious
think about it
if-
either, you know, like
Yeah.
where somebody's, you know, oh, we need that absolutely, or we don't.
I just think we're at the point where if we want to upgrade it, we need to replace it.
I
completely.
think,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
then-
we're not getting like a lot of complaints
I
or
have
like.
And at that point too, is it in the right location?
Right.
Do we move it from there?
Yeah, I was probably move it.
Okay, that's very true.
I know one thing, you want to keep it out of the main part of the park, because if you got people picnicking in the park, you don't want to have kids playing in there, because sometimes the language and the volume gets a little loud.
Yeah.
Pickup games and all that.
And the
Sam?
other-
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, the other thing I was, we were having conversations during Jamboree, but, we told some folks, sure, it'd be great to get some lights, like at Swenson Park, for example. Very expensive, of course, but, chicken and egg to promote, it'd be great to have like rec softball, adult softball leagues, like Crooks and the nearby communities and things like that, so.
Might be telling, once we get the concession stand up and working every night, then we'll look at mall field.
No, I know that. That's a different conversation. I mean, someone said, well, if you check with like Sioux Valley Energy, would they do something like that, put up light? I don't know.
They'd probably set the poles for you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you went with standard poles.
I mean, that is an expensive,
Proposition.
yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
just doing it is,
Our
lights
adult,
are expensive.
like adult softball leagues, is that something that's people talk about around here? Like, geez, it'd be nice to have a,
There
I
used to
don't
be
know.
pretty big into the Friday night bar league, basically, softball.
yeah.
That was an adult league.
Church league
But,
too, didn't they?
yeah, church,
Yeah.
they're usually on like Sunday
Sunday
evenings or
nights,
something like
yeah.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if they still do
I
that.
think it's all kind of faded a little bit.
Right, okay.
It seems like I hear more about like fast pitch than I do, just,
Slow
the beer
pitch.
leagues and those.
Mhm.
Yeah, the slow pitch, yeah.
Slow
Yeah,
pitch,
exactly, yeah,
sure.
so, yeah, but that's, yeah, and being from Iowa, it was the opposite, it was all slow pitch.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah.
You want to start a league?
I'm not looking to start, I'm just curious if people are like, if people get approached like, hey, like,
Right.
why don't we have adult softball,
I had some friends that played it for quite a few years and they haven't played now for.
Yeah, and I get it, they can go to Sioux Falls, I understand all that. But anyway, okay.
Be interesting to see if any towns around or even have it anymore.
Right.
Men's league or guys, adult leagues or like that, nighttime games.
All right, any other discussion on that capital improvement plan? Are we good with the top 8
Yeah.
priority there?
I think so.
So besides clarification, we really haven't changed anything.
Right.
Okay. Just making sure for the notes. And that ag line, it's not cheap, but it needs to be done if they're going to use the field, and we know how much it costs to move the lights.
Sounds good. Any other discussion, or we have next month, I guess, to
Finalize it.
finalize it?
Finalize our budget.
Yeah. All right, the next item is new business is review and approve signage for pickleball courts, which was emailed out, the court rules to put on the sign.
Now, this is what Teresa has got together from other towns and added some things that she thought should be on there and that.
Yeah.
So she's done, doing all the legwork on this here, so she's just making sure that there's something that you guys either want to see else on there.
The
or
third
some-
bullet would change if we get that rack because then you'll be rotating through instead of having the court for an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, the other thing that I've seen is that open court times, where it's open court, that's when you implement the paddle thing too, so, I mean, you can do it either
Wouldn't you
way.
still want them to limit, if they're playing, if they're people wait, whether you had the paddle up there or not, wouldn't you still want them to wait, or like limit it to 1 hour, or?
Well, you're rotating through, so you play a
Yeah.
game and then you're out.
Yeah, and then the
Unless
next
there's a big-
paddle's up.
Oh, got ya,
Yeah.
okay. I don't play, so you can tell.
Yeah.
Someday, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Keep saying that too.
Yeah.
This is the sign, the rule. You can read it there.
Okay.
So if there's stuff on here that we want to take out, you don't want to add differently, maybe just throw Teresa an email so she can put it out there again.
Yeah.
I like everything
I
except
do
for
too.
maybe adjusting that third
Mm.
bullet if we
Yeah.
put a rack in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Should there be something, oh, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, just the very first one, for pickleball use only. Yeah.
The only other thing that I saw,
Some soccer players out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, kicking the ball in the net.
it says for
Yeah, I saw
pickleball
that.
use only.
Yeah,
on
that, I completely missed that first bullet point, I just like, should we, and then I
Yeah.
seen it, so.
The only other, I took a couple pictures. One of them said, no shoveling. If there's snow on there, no shoveling too. But we won't have the nets out, so I'm
Yeah,
assuming,
once it snows, the nets will come
I'm
down.
assuming that won't be a problem, but, and then, no play allowed when snow is present on the court. That's another thing that I saw.
From down south where.
It was actually out in Lead.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that one was
Yeah,
in
that
Lead,
makes
so I
sense,
don't know
I
if
guess.
it was, I don't know why they have that there, but I just wrote a couple
Well,
ones.
they can get snow in May.
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
just
it's
do it.
true.
Yeah, still a
True.
day, and,
Next, so I don't know if that damages it, the
Do we need to
shoveling and-
include-
Yeah, you can
something.
scratch the surfacing on it.
Yeah.
That surfacing's pretty thin, there,
Yep.
so usually peel that.
Do we need to include something about, it says contact City Hall for other concerns, but nets only adjusted by city?
They're locked, so they can't adjust them.
Yeah,
So we have padlocks on them, that way they can't adjust.
People can be pretty creative.
them, I suppose.
maybe we could just add that if adjustments needed to contact the city.
Right.
Yeah, I would be open to that. Yeah, contact city if that's need adjusting.
Yeah, maybe just add a comma and put a couple for concerns about court violations or adjustments, contact
Yeah.
City Hall.
Do you know how much, do they settle a lot throughout the year? I mean, I know they stretch. I mean, if we check them a couple times throughout the
I
year.
think it changes with temperature.
Yeah, I
Like,
think so,
Just how
too.
hot it was this week, they had
That's the one
to,
if-
they had to raise them like 2 inches
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Saturday morning.
Just that one though, right? Just the one side?
Yeah.
He didn't adjust the
Yeah.
other one, so just the one court, for whatever reason.
I know I'd hate to leave the padlocks off them because then.
No,
they
Yeah.
no.
disappear
No, don't do
pretty
that.
quick.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the ones you have there, it probably just hadn't been adjusted yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we adjusted them when we first put them up in
Right.
spring, so we
Mhm.
haven't checked them.
Yeah.
I know we'd mentioned about checking them before to that last Saturday, but we didn't get to it.
They had their tape right on them, so it didn't take long to adjust.
Yeah, thanks for sending them, by the way, quickly.
I don't know if, I see the kids, sometimes they hop over the net and they're gonna, so I don't know if that affects them at all or, I'm sure. So,
She's got, do not abuse nets or other equipment.
Right.
And we put in there, this includes hanging on nets or something like that. or-
yeah. Yeah, that, no hanging on nets. I've seen it.
Or sitting.
Mhm.
Add that to the do not abuse.
Okay. Good. Anything else on the rules?
Nope, it's always good to have a list to start with. so.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll try to go over this stuff with Teresa, but I won't see her till next Monday.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got some notes down here, so I'll have her tweak it, and then we can send it out to you guys can tweak it more if we need to,
Okay.
or whatever, so.
And then will it just get printed? Will that,
I'd
is that
like-
printed this year? Are we doing that
Well,
this year?
yeah, we'll
Okay.
get signs, we want signs made as soon as possible, but most of our signs, we get to go through Lyle Signs.
Okay.
With them, so it's just better, once we get this where we want it, then we'll just forward it to them and they'll make it up, so.
Make it really big and then it's the windbreak is taking.
Yeah.
Checkers.
Yeah. Is it Checkered Graphics that does the vinyl signs for the
I think that's who.
ball fields? Yeah.
I think so.
I think that's good.
Okay,
She's local.
got it.
All right, anything else on the court signs? So we'll move on to other items, review agenda items for July meeting.
So far I have field trip to Swenson.
Yeah.
So we want to do that at 6? How long do you think we
You
need?
think it 30 minutes is enough, Craig, to?
I would say so, I mean, that'd give us a pretty good idea, I mean,
So 6 o'clock there?
because I think we're more interested in like shade structures. I mean, in the meantime, kind of, if you guys get time, look online and see different ideas for shade structures, either at a ball field, get some ideas, so that we can kind of kick some numbers out there and see if it's gonna be within our budget, or if we need to scale back, or what we need to do, so. I could, like I said, I know concrete right now is about $180 a yard, so. And that's if you do it yourself, otherwise it's probably close to $9 a foot.
And then we'll want to finalize our budget
Mhm.
next month.
I'm feeling pretty good about it right now.
Yeah, Teresa will probably, we made some changes to that form, nothing like too crazy, but it was more just like, how are you helping the community kind of phrases, so just think about that. She'll probably send that out before we meet, I would imagine, so just a heads up, but it's nothing to be afraid of, right? So,
Yeah.
Anything else on the agenda?
What is the date, the 20?
July
28th is a
28th.
Monday.
And we'll definitely have to have the budget request that day, because we won't meet again until after end of August, and the city does the budget, like usually about the third week in August. Get it
Okay.
finalized, so.
Yeah, it'll probably be August, that week of the 18th.
I think that's good. We'll need time between the field trip and the discussion and present our final, make our final proposal. That'll
Think about too, somebody,
Focus on.
we typically have somebody come to the council meeting for the budget, so just think about that too, as to who would want to come.
Oh, Tim, definitely.
Yeah,
Tim, yeah.
He came last year, he's always good, so just a heads up, but that's how that runs.
How much time is Tim gonna?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, you got, yeah, you're good, go ahead.
How much time is Tim gonna need for the outdoor fitness initiative? Is that like a presentation?
I don't know.
That's what he's been discussing with us the last couple of meetings. And he was hoping to have an update, and he didn't.
Okay.
We'll just table that then for
Yeah.
next month.
Okay.
But I don't know if that'll impact the budget.
Yeah.
Did we want to go, as part of the field trip, go to the city park and see, for number 8, where we would want to do that practice
Yeah, I think
field
that would
and
be
stuff? And then we could give Craig some guidance on,
I like that idea.
yeah.
I think that would be good. I think ISG is doing kind of a study as well, so maybe run that by them as well.
Yeah.
So,
Because I think in their plan, they had it moved out closer to the sidewalk
I can, yeah, I'll check.
On that plan that they had.
I have weekly or bi-weekly meetings with those guys.
I thought they had it one to the east and then the other to the north of that.
That's where they had the fields laid out, they were gonna put another one in there, but I think the way we started it, we should just keep going like we are, because you can share fences that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of the practice field with the.
Practice the wall.
The practice court, the
Yeah,
wall.
yeah.
That'd be good
I'll
to
talk,
get that
yeah.
visual.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
so 550 or 545?
You'd have a practice wall and tennis with a line across.
5:45.
I gotta put it in the notes.
5:45.
5:45 for the field trip.
Yeah,
And start at Lion Park,
Yeah.
City Park.
sure.
Okay.
That works.
Yep.
And then we can also look at where that little kids area would be, because that's in that Lions Park as well,
Mhm.
just while we're there.
Yep. Can get some ideas.
Yeah.
There's a lot you can do if you got the money.
Yep.
That playground equipment is crazy expensive.
We're good with frisbee golf, that's taken care of.
I got the numbers for that,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
because
the
those
budget.
pads, I figured I think we had the number, I had wrote down
Yeah,
what size
it's
they
like-
were, and we'll do them
5 by
ourselves,
12.
so that's pretty much what dictates what concrete is what, and I think I figured $200 a yard next year.
12 foot.
So
Yeah.
it should be covered.
That seems reasonable, yeah. Take care of the frisbee golfers.
There we go. Anything else we're missing on that?
Yeah.
And then that next one was the updates from Tim. We'll table that until next meeting.
Yep.
Any other discussion? If not, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next meeting, July 28th.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.